They say a river never forgets. It remembers every soul that ever touched its water, every laughter that echoed across its waves, and every cry that sank beneath it. The River Niger, she's not just a river, she's an ancient spirit, calm when pleased, deadly when provoked. In July of 1983, something happened by that river, something the people of Otu community still whisper about in fear. A day when laughter turned to silence and the water swallowed 3 innocent souls. The Otu community sat quietly at the far edge of Onitsha, a cluster of mud houses surrounded by red earth and forest paths that led to the great river. Most families there were farmers and fishermen. The men rose before dawn to cast their nets. The women stayed home, pounding yam or weaving baskets, while keeping one eye on their children. But there was one place no one entered carelessly, the deep bend of the River Niger, known to locals as Mmirinendemo, the water that murders spirits. Every child in Otu grew up with the same warning: don't swim there, don't throw stones there, don't laugh too loud by that river. Yet, like most children, some never listened. There were 3 of them: Chidi, Ebuka, and Okafor. Chidi was the tallest, a 14-year-old boy with restless eyes and the kind of courage that bordered on foolishness. Ebuka, smaller and sharper, always followed him like a shadow. And Okafor, the quiet one, loved the water more than food. That year, the boys spent almost every afternoon by the riverbank, swimming, diving, and challenging each other to touch the forbidden deep side. Their parents scolded them often, but the boys will always be boys. Chidi laughed and said, "Na river dem say get spirit? I never see spirit before." Ebuka replied, "Even if spirit dey, e no go fit catch me. I sabi swim pass fish. Una too go see wetin una dey find one day," Okafor responded. They laughed, the kind of laughter that makes the wind carry your name into places you shouldn't be remembered. Mamuju, one of the oldest women in the village, her husband had drowned in the same river 20 years earlier. She never remarried, never left the community. She just sat each day near the forest edge, mending fishing nets, muttering to herself. When she saw the boys walking toward the river that afternoon, she called out in her cracked but firm voice, "Chidi, Ebuka, una dey go river again?" Chidi, turning playfully, replied, "Mama, we just wan swim small. How many times I go tell una? Dat river get eyes. E dey watch who mock am," Mamuju said to the boys. Her words carried the kind of truth that comes from experience. But to the boys, she was just an old woman with too many stories. That day, July 12, 1983, the sky was heavy. Dark clouds hovered above the forest and thunder rolled softly in distance. The air smelled of wet earth and smoke from distant cooking fires. The river looked too calm. It was around 3 p.m. when the boys reached the bank. Ngozi, Chidi's little sister, followed them halfway but stopped at the palm trees. Ngozi spoke to her brother Chidi. "Chidi, Mama say make you no go swim when cloud don dark." But Chidi only replied, "Ngozi, go home. Na small water we go touch." Ngozi frowned and replied, "You think say water dey small? You go soon learn. Make you no learn the hard way o." She stayed there, arms folded, watching them disappear down the slope. As they reached the shallow edge, something floated slowly toward them, a small wooden calabash. Inside it was a white meal, thick and steaming as though freshly made, pap and fish, neat and inviting. Around it floated white flower petals. Ebuka, pointing at the calabash, said, "Who go dey cook pap for river?" Okafor replied, "Maybe na fisherman food wey don waka come." Chidi grinned and said, "Abi na mami water breakfast?" They laughed loud, careless laughter. Then Chidi bent, scooped a handful of sand, and threw it straight into the calabash. The others joined in, laughing harder as the pap turned muddy. From somewhere deep within the river came a faint, almost human humming. At first, it sounded like the wind, then clearer, like a woman singing underwater. Ngozi, from a distance, shouted, "Chidi, wetin una dey do for there? I dey hear song o." But they couldn't hear her. The sound was all around them now. The singing turned to whispering, soft, rhythmic words in a language older than time. "Omum, una chorola nsogbu," meaning, "My children, you have chosen trouble." The river's soft face rippled gently. Chidi froze. Ebuka stopped laughing. Then, a sudden gust of cold wind swept across the water, bending the trees and scattering leaves. Ngozi felt it on her skin and screamed, "Chidi, come back now." But before she could finish, the river twisted into a whirlpool. The boys tried to run, but the water pulled their legs, dragging them deeper. Ebuka screamed loud, "Help! Help me, oh!" They all cried for help, but who would save them at that moment? Their cries were swallowed by the rushing waves. In seconds, they were gone. Only the calabash remained, floating gently, perfectly clean again. Ngozi ran screaming through the path, shouting for help. Her voice tore through the quiet afternoon. Men dropped their nets, women left their fires. Within minutes, the river bank was crowded, villagers standing in shock, Mamuju wailing and crying loudly. I talk say the river gets spirits. Una no dey hear. Some men jumped into the river with ropes and paddles as Ngozi narrated in tears what she had witnessed. But the water was calm again. No bubbles, no ripples, no sign of struggle. It was as though the boys had never existed. By dawn, the news had spread like wildfire through Otu community. 3 boys, Chidi, Ebuka and Okafor, had gone missing. The river that once echoed with laughter now lay silent, still and cold. No ripple, no bubbles, not even the cry of a bird nearby. The elders said it was a bad sign. When a river becomes too calm after taking lives, it means the spirits are satisfied or watching. By mid-morning, cries filled the entire village. Chidi's mother tore her wrapper and ran barefoot towards the river bank. Women held her back as she screamed her son's name again and again. Villagers gathered with calabashes, lamps and sticks, calling out to the river, hoping to hear a response. But the only answer was the low hum of water moving slowly downstream. The elders sent word to Chief Nnadi, the community head. He ordered everyone to stay away from the river until a cleansing was done. For 2 days, they searched. The elders poured palm oil and white chalk into the river, calling out the boys' names. The town crier's voice echoed through the night. 3 children are missing by the River Niger. If you see anything, report to the chief. 3 days gone and young men still searched the river. They dragged nets, called the boys' names, even poured oil into the water, an old practice to make borders rise. Nothing came up, not a cloth, not a slipper, not even a floating stick from the place they had disappeared. By the 4th day, the community priest declared it wasn't a drowning. He said, "The river has hidden them beneath its spirit gate." That night, the elders gathered by the river for a cleansing rite. The chief priest, Nze Arinze, wore a white cloth and beads of cowries. He chanted incantations in Igbo, calling the water mothers to mercy. When the drums began, the wind shifted, cold and sharp. Some villagers claimed they saw a faint light under the water, moving like a human shadow. Others swore they heard children laughing softly from beneath the surface, but none dared go near. That same night, a priest from Asaba was called to perform rituals. He stood bare feet at the water's edge, holding a staff wrapped in red cloth. He poured libation and whispered ancient prayers. Spirits of the deep, return what you have taken. If they are yours, keep them safe. If they are ours, let them go. But the river said nothing. By the 7th day, hope had died. Families wailed. The air smelt of palm wine and sorrow. Ngozi sat near her mother's hut, too weak to speak, her eyes fixed on the path leading to the river. That night, when everyone slept, she swore she heard laughter, faint, familiar, coming from afar, the sound of her brother and his friends, playing by the water. She covered her ears, but the laughter grew louder, and then silence. The next night, the villagers went to Mamuju, the widow who had once lost her husband to the same water. She sat quietly before the fire, her wrinkled hands rumbling a cowrie shell. When they asked what she thought had happened, she said only one thing: Mirinende Mo has taken her own. The children mocked what their fathers feared. The people grew afraid. They remembered that Mamuju had warned the boys just days earlier to stay away. Some said she had spoken with the spirit of the river before, that she was half seer, half cursed. 2 weeks later, one of the village girls, a cousin of Chidi, had a dream. She said she saw the missing boys sitting at the bottom of the river, eating from a golden plate beside a woman with long hair. The woman told her, "Tell them not to cry. They are learning to breathe like us." When she woke, her bedsheet was wet, not from sweat, but from clear cold water. The community performed a larger ritual to appease the river mother. Palm wine, a goat, and white clothes were offered. Mamuju stood silently in the background, whispering prayers under her breath. When the sacrifice ended, the priest warned, "From today, no child will play here again. This river has been marked." 7 years later, during another rainy season, something strange happened. Fishermen claimed that one morning they saw 3 young boys standing knee-deep in the river, staring silently at the shore. Before anyone could call out, the boys turned and vanished into the water. No splash, no sound, just ripples fading in circles, like laughter echoing from beneath. Today, the story still lives among the people of Otu. They say that when the evening sun touches the water, you can see the faces of 3 boys smiling beneath the surface. Children no longer swim there. Even fishermen now pour libation before casting their nets. The river is called Okomere, the river's foot, a reminder that some laughter, when thrown at spirits, never returns.